Okay, let's look at these problems from the transformation worksheet. So if we look at number 3, we look at just the lines. If you look at just the lines, they have the exact same y-intercept. So I'm going to write that out. The only thing that's different is the reflection across y-axis. F of x is our original function. It's f of x equals 3x. And then g of x is f of a negative x. So that means we are replacing this x of f of x with a negative x. So in order to get g of x, you're going to do f of negative x, which means f of x is 3x, but you're going to plug in a negative x. And this is multiplication. So if you do 3 times a negative x, then you get negative 3x. So this is our equation. You're substituting in whatever they have for the x. So like on this one, we're substituting in a negative x for the f of x. So the only thing that was affected on this one was the slope. It changed from a positive slope, 3x, to the negative 3x, which is our negative slope. So it's a reflection. Okay. Questions on that one?
So like on that one, we don't put like translation of like 2, like 3 and up or down like that.
No, because it didn't translate at all. The only thing that happened was the reflection.
Yes, sir.
So that's why I wrote this same y-intercept, so I would know there's no translation.
Translate only like when you slide, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, number 4. If we just look at the graph, what do you notice about the graph?
It has the same line.
Okay, so we're going to write that same y-intercept. Okay, what changed though? F of x is this one. And then g of x, which one's steeper? F of x. So this is steeper. I'm going to write that out just so I can remember. And that's our original one. So then g of x would be less steep, right? So it's flatter. We could write g of x is flatter. Do what? No, it's not rotated. It's just less steep. And so what changes the steepness on a line? Which part of the equation? The slope. So that means our slope has changed. So if we have f of x equals x minus 1. And in order to get g of x, we are going to plug in half x for x. So we have this equation x minus 1. So it's no longer going to be x. It's going to be half x. Because we are replacing x with whatever is inside our function. Remember function notation? If we want f of 2, we would plug in 2 for x. F of half x means we're plugging in half x for x. So in the spot of x, we're putting half x minus 1. So our new equation is half x minus 1. So in the equation, the only thing that changed from f of x to g of x was our slope. See how this is 1x? Our slope here is 1. Our slope here is half. So that's why it is g of x is less steep by half. Is it starting to make a little bit more sense? No. No. Which part? Can I explain something again or differently? Do you understand how to get the equation? No. You plug it in. You plug in whatever is inside here, just like function notation. I'm plugging in half x for x. So instead of, see how this is f of x? This is f of half x. So instead of writing x minus 1, I'm doing half x minus 1. I just substituted in the half x for our variable x. Yeah. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Okay, let's look at 5. F of x, x minus 2, and then g of x is 2f of x. So let's just look at our graph and write what was changed. So this is our original one, right? So what was changed? Was the y-intercept changed? Yeah, so y-intercept is how many units down? 2. 2 units. Is shifted or slid 2 units down. Okay, and then what was the other thing? What about slope? Yeah, so g of x has a steeper slope. So if we want to do our equation, see how this is f of x is x minus 2. G of x is found by doing 2 times f of x. So what is f of x? Yep. So we're going to double that. So in order to get g of x, we're going to do 2 times f of x, which f of x is this x minus 2. So it'd be 2 parentheses x minus 2 to get our new equation. So what is it doubling? Is it just the slope? Because we're doubling both the x and the m and the b. So we're actually doubling our y-intercept and we're doubling our slope. Because 2 is being multiplied by the whole function. So this would be when you distribute g of x equals 2 times x, and then 2 times the negative 2, which would be negative 4. So it was shifted 2 units down because our y-intercept was doubled. It's not 2, it's now 4. And then our slope is doubled, so it becomes steeper. This slope is 1, and so the other one would be up 2 over 1. So it was doubled. So doubled slope and y-intercept. So when you do 2 times the whole function, then it's doubling everything. Not just the slope, the y-intercept too.
I have a question.
Yes.
Could you not just go like the g of x thing?
Yeah.
The equation part, could you just check it by looking at the line?
Yeah, you could. Yep. So if you look at the line, how do you figure out your equation?
Start from the start point.
Yeah.
And then you go up to the next one. 2 and 1 over 1.
Yep. Yeah, that would be exactly how you could find it. And you could check it with what this one is. So definitely. Okay, so I want you to do 6 and 7 then. You okay? Did you break something?
Something thrown at my face.
What was that?
It's okay.
I have no idea what's going on. I'm so lost. All right, do 6 and 7. And I'm going to let y'all talk about it. And once you finish, you can turn it in.